Hey guys, it's Dennis here with Revog Games. I'm joined by...
Joshua Weyers, all the way in South Africa.
Yeah, it's a daytime. It's a Sunday morning for me here. What is it for you? Is it Sunday night? What is it?
Yeah, it's Sunday evening, about 10 p.m. on Sunday.
Okay, cool. Yeah, a lot of stuff to talk about. Yeah, we were going to do one on Friday, but our schedules didn't line up. But a lot of news, a lot of big news. I mean, the big thing, let's start off right off the bat. Mortal Kombat came out. You could see it in theaters, or you could watch it on HBO Max. You know, I am still not comfortable, especially because I'm only one shot into my vaccine, so I'm still not comfortable going to movie theaters yet. So I did want to see that in the theaters, but I have HBO Max, so I watched it at home. Same with Godzilla versus King Kong. I wanted to watch that, obviously, in the big screen with the big giant monsters, but yeah, it's just not worth it for me right now. As soon as I'm get my second dose and I'm 2 weeks into it, then I will feel much more comfortable going to the movie theaters. But anyways, we're going to actually do a spoiler review on a separate video, so we can talk about the story points and all the different details. So let's do just a quick overview, non-spoiler of Mortal Kombat. First, let me ask you how, what were your initial thoughts?
My biggest takeaway from this is the kind of thing of if I had to explain this movie to people, I would say it's entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
I did not regret watching it. I did not regret the money I spent on watching it. Could it have been better? Maybe, but I think they did.
No, I mean it could have been better, but I mean I think there's some reasons. Yeah. There's reasons why it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean I think they did the best they could. Without saying any spoilers, story wise, they had to take some liberties and do some changes because the Mortal Kombat timeline, if you will, it's kind of all over the place. In the 2000s, they were kind of building their own story, but now it's each Mortal Kombat is its own story, and they changed a lot of things. So I they kind of went with their own story with the movie. You know what I mean? Which I like. It's a new story. It's like a fresh story. You know what I mean? It's something new. I like that. Action's great. That's the one. The fight scenes are sick. The fight scenes are sick. The last fight scene, I can't say what it is, but the last fight scene is freaking awesome. If for anybody watching this, if you haven't watched it yet, keep in mind, I believe that the lead actor is actually more of a stuntman than an actor. I could be wrong.
Louis Tan. I mean, he's been in a bunch of. He's been in Wu Assassins, and he's been in. I think he played Shatterstar in Deadpool. Was that Deadpool 2?
It seems like the majority. It seems like the majority of his work started to stunt work, because you can tell his stunts he does all his own stunts. You can see it's his face. You know what I mean? He does an amazing job with the stunts in the martial arts. Acting's a little dry. It's not bad, but it's a bit dry. You know what I mean? There are definitely other actors that shined out a bit more for me. A lot of the Asian characters were freaking amazing. Like Sub-Zero and Scorpion were that's where the acting talent shined through for me. That, and Jax as well had some nice moments. Sonya kind of broke. I wouldn't say broke character, but broke the mood in certain scenes where it's I don't know. It seems like she was almost playing in a different genre movie at the scene. But overall, I enjoyed it. And there are certain parts of it that were cheesy, but I wanted it because if you remember the original movies, they are cheesy. So I'm glad that there was a certain element of cheese to it. There's certain things that happen in the movie where you're going to ask yourself, did they really need to do that? And realistically, no. But because it's in the video game, they had to. There's a certain part where I can't say who or why, but someone's holding a still beating heart in their hand. Is that physically possible? No, but it's in the video game, so we're going to put it in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was an entertaining movie. I think the story-wise and dialogue-wise was a bit clunky, and there's certain things that I think could have been done better. I mean, I know certain things were done so that they could kind of get these video game moments, references into the storyline, and then some things were just purely just to get to one action scene and to the other. So I would say that probably the weakest part of the movie. The action scenes were entertaining.
Fatalities were good.
Fatalities was really good.
Yeah.
The action scenes were good for the most part, and then for me, my favorite stuff was the Sub-Zero Scorpion dynamic. I actually wish there was more of that, or hopefully we can see some of that in future movies. When I say limitations, I think I saw this, and don't quote me because I don't know if this is 100% verified, but I think the budget was only $55 million or something like that. So it was not. The budget wasn't
happened, of course, halfway through, you know.
Yeah, so there's just a lot of stuff I think that were restricting how big of a movie, because there were certain parts where I was like, okay, this is definitely like a set, you know. I mean,
Who would you say was your favorite character though? Like besides Sub-Zero and Scorpion.
Okay.
If you had to choose one of those, who would be your favorite character? For me, it was Jax. I'm not Jax. Sorry, Kano.
I think everyone loved. Yeah, I think everyone loved Kano. It was probably.
He did a good job. A good job.
Probably Kano. No, I'll talk about the scenes in the spoiler review. But anyways, yeah, I think it was. You know, it's a good time. Is it? You know, is it an Oscar-worthy film?
God no.
But
I think they messed up the blood, Dennis. Like I don't know if you noticed, but like. They did it less in the rest of the movie, but in the first like big intro scene, there's like blood flying through the air, and you can see the surface reflection on each blood droplet. And I'm like, that's also something that's impossible. Like I'm not going to see surface reflections on blood droplets flying through the air. It's you know, blood flying through the air is barely visible. You know, it's like a dirty stain. You know, but those are like nitpicking things that I don't think. At the end of the day, it's a video game movie. It's not based on real life. It's not based on a story that's based in real life. It's literally based on a video game. So
I think also people have to understand, for me personally, like I have very fond memories of the original Mortal Kombat. It was very campy. It was PG-13 and very campy. Was it PG-13? I can't remember. Anyways,
I think it was because my parents let me watch it when I was like a child.
But it was, and I actually kind of missed some of that. I kind of wish this version was a bit cheesier. I wish it kind of led into some campy moments. And so, but overall, yeah, I think it was a fun watch for me.
Yeah, I will say this though, like if I had to choose between recommending Mortal Kombat and Nobody to somebody, I would recommend Nobody. I don't know if you've seen that yet.
Yeah,
Nobody was.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was like it's like a John Wick, but for like
with a little bit of comedy in it.
Yeah, it's like a suburban John Wick.
People are saying they might actually do a crossover where it's Hutch and John Wick, because they're saying fans are speculating it's in the same universe. Here's what they're gonna do. They're gonna be like, well, let's make it the same universe. Yeah. That's money right there.
Yeah. I forgot to mention too when I was talking about for Mortal Kombat, for me, it's like I've played the game, but I'm not like a diehard. I don't play like every single iteration, and I'm not like well knowledged and well versed into kind of the lore and the back history. I know some of it, but I'm not. So any details that vary from the movie to the game don't bother me at all. So I have no, for me, it's just the movie. This is the movie, and I understand it's different than the game, and so I just look at it in the context of the actual movie in terms of the story and characters and whatnot.
Hold up.
What's up?
Okay, cool. No, it's making sure I got nothing running in the background. I'm lagging a little bit here. That's all right. As long as you can see me, that's all that matters.
Yeah. Everything seems fine on my end. And then so yeah, that's kind of my overall thoughts of the film. I'd say I'd recommend checking it out, and we'll do a spoiler review where we can talk more about the actual scenes and the actual things that happened.
I mean, if you have HBO Max, watch it. Yeah. That's what I would say. And it's also like I don't regret spending the money on watching it, in cinema. So it's worth it for that reason too, I think.
Let me ask you about not so much of the movie, but your movie going experience. Was there a lot of people in there? Was it full?
No, dude, it was empty. But I think it's because people don't know that the cinemas are people know the cinemas are open, and it's like we actually had the Demon Slayer movie, which is an anime play a couple months ago. That was like the theater was packed for that because it was like a niche event. But most of the time, like I think if I had gone early, like later in the day, maybe it was busy. But I went like the middle of the day, middle of the week kind of thing. Well, no, it was a Friday, middle of the day, but it was like really empty. I don't know if it was for social distancing purposes, but it was like maybe like I want to say like maybe 8 people in the whole cinema that I was in.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's move on to. We have a bunch of topics to talk about. Let's talk about this. We talked, kind of talked about this before, but there's kind of been an update about Sony and trying to take on Xbox Game Pass and their own version. And there's been rumblings and people saying, okay, they are working on version. So now there's some stuff about this PlayStation Plus Video Pass, and this is supposed to be on top of what you're already paying for, or I mean, it's free on top of what you're already paying for. And so they were talking about how they're testing the service out in Poland, actually. But it's like, see, I'll get into this later, but it's not so much them adding more games to this thing. They're just adding a video component to it, so to give you more value to it. Which
so it's like they're kind of going, instead of trying to compete with Game Pass just with games, we're trying to make it a service where you can stream your movies and TV shows and play games all on the same subscription. I think is what they're aiming for. Which I don't know anybody else who does that. I know Amazon in the future was planning to do that.
Yeah, I just don't know how this one, they're giving you these PlayStation Plus Video Pass movies, Bloodshot, Jumanji, The Next Level, Zombieland 2, Charlie's Angels, Venom.
Most likely the Spider-Man stuff eventually, because Spider-Man was from Sony.
Baby Driver, Blade Runner, Underworld. So it's like movies. I mean, to be honest, they're movies that I've seen. Like, when you have a streaming service for movies and television, you always want this balance of two things. One, you want to have a big library so that people can either rewatch movies that they love or watch movies that they have been meaning, or television shows they've been meaning to watch but haven't gotten around to it, and mix that balance with brand new originals that nobody has seen and are exclusive just to your platform. And so with this, it just seems like it's adding a small library to an existing game subscription service. Yeah. So it's adding this value to it, but it's not. I just don't think that's not enough to compete against Game Pass. What Game Pass is ultimately doing is giving you first-party exclusive games on day one. So it's like the Netflix original, or let's say we're talking about HBO Max, like having Mortal Kombat or Godzilla vs. King Kong on day one. You're getting that thing first, just like before anyone else, or only to you, or whatever. Like, you're getting that thing first. So I don't know how much this is really going to sway people to subscribing to this.
Considering PlayStation Now is still a separate entity from this, it's not going to do shit, Dennis. Mm-hmm. Like, PlayStation Now has a huge backlog of games you can be streaming for that price. But like I said, unless PlayStation Now joins in with PlayStation Plus, what PlayStation Plus still doesn't have anything to offer compared to PlayStation Now. You know what I mean? And it seems like they still want to keep the things separate because, like I said, you can get PlayStation Now on PC, and you can actually, on your PC, you can stream PS3 and PS4 games to your PC, which I don't think that Microsoft has Game Pass for PC, but there's a lot of console games you can't play on PC. You know what I mean? Whereas Sony's now decided a lot of the games that never got ported. There's no port, there's no PC port, it never got a PC release, but you can stream the game onto your computer, PS3 game, PS4 game, which is cool, but it's not worth the price, I would say. I think they lowered it, but it was like, it was, remember when it first came out, it was $20 a month, which is expensive. Yeah. But let me ask you something, Dennis. Have you ever heard of PlayStation View?
I've heard of it, but I maybe because
that was their streaming service. Like, that was their little.
Yes.
The thing is, PlayStation has so many services that aren't being used, so they're trying to rehash it, join them in together. It seems like they're mixing PlayStation View with PS Plus, and then still leaving an entire catalog of 300, 400 games on a whole separate subscription service, which is stupid. Just join the two together if they really wanted to fight Game Pass, you know?
Yeah, I don't know if it's confusing to me because I just, like I've mentioned many times before, I come into the PlayStation cycle at the very end, and I basically buy all the best games for really cheap, and then that's when I start playing them. And so I'm not into that. I'm not constantly updated on the ecosystem there. I've heard of you. I've heard of Now and Plus. I mean, I'll be honest with you right now. I'm subscribed to one of them, and I don't know which one it is. I don't know if it's View or not View. I know it's not View. I don't know if I'm subscribed to Plus or Now. I think I'm subscribed to Plus, but who knows?
Probably Plus. Yeah.
It's all okay. It's all very confusing to me. But yeah, I just don't see how this value add, while nice and cool, I've already got too much content to watch anyways. I have a backlog of list of not just game. I have tons of games I still need to play, tons of TV shows I need to play or watch, and tons of movies I need to watch. And so adding these adding this library of content, especially content I've mostly already seen before, I just don't know what it does to drive people to subscribe. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. It's not. It's nice. I can't think of any reason. It's nice for the people that already have it, and also it's not enough for me to like decide to keep it. I mean, I already paid for a year of PlayStation Plus. I don't know if I'm gonna keep it. So I don't know.
Yeah, I just double check because I don't want to be talking out my ass. But yes, PS Plus and PS Now are still separate items, which, like I said, makes no sense. PS Plus cannot combat with Game Pass because there's the 2 free games you give us a month is not worth. It's not the same as comparing it to like a huge catalog, you know. It's the closest thing they have to fighting Game Pass is PS Now, but instead they're focusing all their time, energy, and money on PS Plus. It just makes, like I said, no sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me, Dennis. But
yeah, so
whatever, I don't know. And they like keep in mind because I actually had PlayStation View for a while because PlayStation. I mean, yes, it's Sony, but PlayStation themselves produced a few TV series for their subscription service. One of them I think was called Powers, and it was actually pretty
I heard
okay.
about that.
Yeah,
I heard decent stuff about that.
Okay. Yeah, like the first 2 seasons were pretty good. I think it was who's his name again? It's gonna kill me. Eddie Izzard. Eddie Izzard plays like the villain, and he does an amazing job, like mind-blowingly good job of playing the villain. So I mean, but like you said, even with all these things they're adding, I don't think a single person's gonna go, yeah, I'll get that. You know?
Yeah.
Like unless they have money burning a hole in their pocket, they're not gonna get it.
Yeah.
You know?
On the flip side, some good news for Sony is they, despite many shortages of PlayStation 5s, it is the fastest selling console ever. I mean, this shouldn't be too surprising. Every generation, I believe, one of the consoles is going to be the best selling because gaming just has become more and more prevalent in kind of the culture and with younger people. And so whether it's Xbox or PlayStation, one of them I would believe. But I mean, it's good news. They've sold the most at a record-setting pace, and they're trying to stock more because there's so many shortages. It's crazy when I think about it. At least maybe from my perspective, where it's like there's shortages and tons of people are buying it, and I just don't have any desire. And I'm not even saying this is a Sony Microsoft's better or whatever. Don't have a desire to buy the Series X yet. Maybe at some point, PlayStation 5 as well. At some point, I'll be excited. But right now, the exclusive games just to their platforms are not pushing me to really go buy one. And I honestly don't see the real need for it right now. What do you think about this best-selling console ever news?
I don't know. I still think did it really beat the PS2? Because wasn't the PS2 the best-selling console of the time?
Well, that's I think overall in terms of sales. Like overall, they're talking about from the day it launched to now. How many they're competing the month, like how many they've sold from November.
Xbox, right?
Well,
so they're not comparing it to previous generation consoles.
No, they're comparing it to everything. But what I'm saying is,
it did beat the PS2 sales then, because the PS2 sales were, even with the PS4, the PS2 sales, I believe, dominated more than PS4 sales upon the first year.
Was it? I don't know.
It was, dude. The PS2 sold, I think, like Xbox had sold maybe 50% of what the PS2 had sold. Like I got to look up the numbers. It was insane how much the PS2 had won by. PS2 sales.
Yeah, but eventually the PS2 ended up losing that generation to Xbox.
The Xbox One?
No. Xbox 360.
No,
think you're.
yeah, the PS3 lost to the Xbox 360 100%. The PS3 it had horrible online services as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the PS2 sold 150 million units.
Oh, okay. No, I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm thinking of the PS3 then.
Yeah, the PS2 sold 150 million units as of February 2011.
Okay.
Whereas the Xbox only sold 24 million units.
Okay,
which is a huge difference.
Yeah. Because Xbox, that was their first console. I'm confusing the generations. So yeah, PS3 was the one that got beat up by Xbox 360. And like I said, it keeps flip flopping all over the place. But yeah, I mean it's good news. Like I said, I'll be thinking about a purchase closer to fall, and I'll see what kind of deals I can get. Right now there's not any deals because they're selling them out, so they don't need to do anything. But
yeah, currently it looks like PS5 has sold about 6.3 million consoles, which, like I said, is like that PS2, dude. 150 million consoles sold. That's insane, dude.
Yeah.
But keep in mind that's over the course of like 10 or 11
yeah. They're only comparing the X amount of months or whatever it's been out. It's not even a year yet, so.
True, yeah. But we'll see how the PS5 sells. I just know more people want it, not even because they want Sony, but because to most people, it looks better. It just looks interesting. Like, it looks more flashy, to the general consumer, I think.
Yeah, I've mentioned this before in other podcasts. Like, I mean, looking at a console is fine, but maybe other people like to display their consoles. I tuck mine away in my media console. Yeah, they're literally, especially if I'm not playing any games on disc, I'm just not really interfacing with it a lot or looking at it, So
I'm the same. I hide mine away in like a little compartment somewhere, but the PS5 is something, same with the Xbox, is something that I actually would put on display because it's so big. It's going to be difficult to like tuck it away. You know what I mean? It's a big console. It's big, heavy, it's chunky. Even if I had like a place for it underneath my TV, I would worry about
overheating,
cooling. Overheating, cooling issues. So I would literally leave it what's the word I'm looking for, man? My brain is
vertical.
Not horizontal. I would leave it vertical.
Oh, yeah.
And I would leave it next to the TV completely, like no surrounded space.
I mean, honestly, the Xbox looks like a subwoofer at that point.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of like the Xbox does fit in with pretty much more people's living rooms, but the PS5 is a conversation starter. Somebody walks in, that's the first thing they're going to see in your living room. White router.
I mean, even more so with the pandemic, but even before that, like I'm just not a person that a lot of people come over anymore. When I was younger, yes, I invite people over all the time, drink, have fun, watch TV, watch movies, games, Super Bowls, UFC, all that stuff. Nowadays, I'm like, it's just me and my lady, and
That's the way it should be, man. You got any pets?
I used to. I had a cat. He passed away probably, I don't know how many years has it been now? 5-6 years now, unfortunately.
You ever consider getting a new one?
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm gonna take my time. Yeah. I want to get another cat, but hopefully.
Same. I've been on a waiting list for like 8 months. I'm getting a little sick of waiting.
A waiting list.
My whole life. Well, I've been rescuing cats and like adopting them my whole life. So I was like, for once in my life, I want to go to a breeder and I want to get the cat that I want, which is it's a Maine Coon cat, and I've been on a waiting list for like 8. Well, because I want a boy. Like if I wanted a female, I would have had the cat 8 months ago. But apparently, the way animals work is when they give babies, there are going to be more females than men because of reproduction. Like this lady's in the past 8 months, she's had I think like 30 kittens and only 2 have been male.
Wow. Yeah, mine was a dude. My past one.
Dudes are chilled. Cats are like male cats are the most chilled.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. So anyways, let's move on to this next one. I don't know if I sent you this one, but yeah, because it just came out on Friday. This report that Respawn is in early.
Actually, I just opened it up. Yeah.
Early days of a brand new franchise, and Respawn. Here we go with. They're killing it with Apex Legends. They had a great hit with Jedi Fallen Order. Titanfall, while not a huge commercial success, is beloved by hardcore gamers, including myself. Not that I'm a hardcore gamer, but it's beloved by me. They did Medal of Honor Above and Beyond, which I haven't played yet. I heard a lot of mixed things about it. I'm waiting for the price to come down. It's a $60 game. It's been on sale for about $50. Just from what I heard about it, I feel like and we're actually going to get into this in a couple stories about pricing. I feel like once it's 40 or 30, maybe that's when I will purchase it and play it. But anyways, new franchise from Respawn. I'm excited because of their track record so far. They're hiring people to work on this. What do you think it's going to be? I mean, even though Titanfall and Jedi Fallen Order are different games, they do Apex Legends. They do have similar kind of gameplay mechanics across the board. What do you think they're going to do?
Well, I mean, Apex Legends and Titanfall set in the same universe, same game mechanics.
Yeah,
they did an amazing job with Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Yeah. I know a while ago we speculated that maybe Respawn would be the people doing the Knights of the Old Republic reboot. But I think that was confirmed a week ago, but it's a different studio.
We're talking about that in a little bit.
So here's the thing: because Apex Legends is games as a service, I don't see them doing anything Titan like you said, it's a new IP, but I don't see them doing a first-person shooter because they already have that as like a games as a service that they're constantly updating. I think they're going to go along the lines of doing something similar to Jedi Fallen Order, like come out with a good.
Like an
Uncharted
style
RPG. You know what I mean, like somewhere like very much like Jedi Fallen Order, but
their own property.
New and fresh, because I think they can see the monetary value in having your own single player IP. You know what I mean, your own single player IP that you own, because single player games do have a lot of longevity to them in terms of sequels. You know what I mean? And they don't own they don't own Star Wars, so that's not theirs. They sure as hell made money on it, but they would make more money if it was their own IP.
Yeah, because you can keep doing that license to Jedi Fallen Order. Star Wars can always just take it away or yank it away and be like, oh, you can't add that anymore. I don't know what their exact contract is, but anyways, it's not theirs in perpetuity. Where if you create a franchise, you're like, okay, I can. And if it's a hit, you can like license to a television show or a movie, and you can keep just building sequels and sequels. So, anyways,
comics, books, webtoons.
So I'm excited for it, and I agree with you. I think it's going to go in that realm. I think it's going to be a third-person action adventure
as well.
Yeah,
like I don't see them doing anything fantasy related or period history related. Maybe paranormal. I mean, like. Actually, I doubt it, but it's like that's so out there that who knows. Yeah. But most likely, it's going to be something sci-fi, fantasy related.
I think so too. Because
like, look, Apex, Titanfall, like those games are very scientific, and then Jedi Fallen Order, that's space. So it's going to be somewhere in that little sweet spot.
I think so, because do you remember what happened with BioWare? Well, you know why Mass Effect exists, right? It's because they developed Knights of the Old Republic. First two, and then it actually the second one I think they might have sourced out, but anyway, it was such a big hit, but they didn't own Star Wars, huge. So they, if anyone had played the original Knights of the Old Republic and Mass Effect, it's like it's the same, not the same game, but it's the same gameplay mechanics, and the story structure is very similar. It's like you're the main character and you get people to join your party.
Put two and two together.
Oh,
you're absolutely right. I never noticed. Mass Effect is literally Knights of the Old Republic mechanics.
Yeah, it's the same game. So they created a new IP so they could take the success of their game development and create a brand new IP out of it. And now Mass Effect is a big hit, and obviously it's not as big as Star Wars, but what is? But it's big enough in the game industry now. It's an IP that they can create more sequels to. They already have 4 games out. They're having a 5th one. They're working on the 5th one right now. So, and that led into Dragon Age, and so I mean, that just seems like a logical step for a lot of these studios to take, especially after they've already kind of got one hit under the belt.
Like people know Respawn, but now after people knew about Respawn, of course, because of Titanfall and because of Apex. But for me, Respawn became more of a household name because of Jedi Fallen Order.
Fair.
Like people knew the studio by name more. Like people knew the studio that made Titanfall, but they didn't know it by name. Now people know Respawn by name, and it's just a financial smart thing. Like you said, there's no downside to this.
I mean, the only downside is you're taking a little more risk because when you create it is when you create new IP, the issue is, are people going to get attached to it? Because we've seen many games that create their new IP. What was that one game, Disintegration? One of the guys that created Hollow.
I was gonna relate it to oh man, Disintegration just made me think of that game as well. I'm blanking on the game that I was thinking of. Sorry, Greedfall. Greedfall was actually a pretty good game, but it just didn't get traction. It didn't get a fan following. I don't think there's gonna be a Greedfall 2. I don't think there's gonna be. It didn't bomb. I would say I think they made their money on it, but it didn't do as well as what they wanted to. I don't know the exact facts. I just know nobody's speaking about it, and I enjoyed it as a game. It was definitely had its problems, but it's it was a pretty good RPG, a good action RPG, and it came out when there weren't really a lot of RPGs available, so I enjoyed it for that. But I think the world itself was built in a way that it just didn't. It was not interesting enough. It was interesting for me, but it was also very not. I don't want to say the colonial era, but it's it's kind of around that colonial era where it's it's just a weird era in history that they decided to throw fantasy into. It's I feel it's entertaining, but how entertaining could you make the Victorian era? You know what I mean? For instance, if that makes sense. I don't know. So it's a risk for sure. I don't see them losing money on this, but I think that they'll still break even on this at the worst case. Whatever it is.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. So Oculus had a gaming showcase event. They showed off, I think, was it 12 games? How many games did they show? 12 games. They weren't all full games because a lot of them were kind of add-ons or expansions of existing games. I mean, they talked about Resident Evil 4, which we talked about last week about being, because the original was a third-person game, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And so it's going to be exclusive to the Oculus Quest, actually Oculus Quest 2. But then Pistol Whip has a new add-on, Smoke and Thunder. And then you have
After the Fall.
Yeah, After the Fall, which is coming from the Arizona Sunshine developers, it's been highly anticipated.
There's a Warhammer 40K game. What?
Yeah, Lone Echo 2 is finally coming out. Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy Part 2, which you did
Part 1, right?
You
tried it. You said
no. I played the whole thing. We did. Me and Dorian did a review on it. It was good. But this Part 2 took a lot longer than we expected. I thought Part 2 would come out in a few months after Part 1, but Star Wars Pinball VR, I Expect You to Die 2,
which, by the way, looks quite fun. It looks quite interesting. I've never even heard of the first one, but
I have.
This looks quite fun. This actually genuinely looks quite fun.
Well, it reminds me of I played it. It's a puzzle adventure game. I played the first. I haven't finished the first one, but I played the first one. It's fun. It's got that campy James Bond vibe. I don't know if you ever played No One Lives Forever. Do you remember that game?
Yes.
It's got that vibe to it, where it's old school James Bond, but it's tongue in cheek humor, So that one's a full game. But then you have Wraith the Oblivion Afterlife. I saw a trailer for that. It looked kind of cool. It's scary horror, but then also kind of a thriller as well.
I wonder how, because the thing that actually caught my eye the most out of all of these is Car of Snowboarding, which is a retake on an old Nintendo 64 game. And it looks really fun. It looks like it's something that could be exhilarating, but how?
Yeah, I'm wondering
how.
Well, I'm just wondering. I'm just wondering also motion sickness, whether or not people will get motion sickness from it or not.
I just don't know. I feel if if it's skiing, then it makes sense because I'm using my hands to do the skiing. But if it's snowboarding,
I don't know.
It's gonna feel weird turning using my hands if I'm snowboarding. I need to turn with my legs, or my weight, at least Maybe it's like the way you tilt your head, it tracks the headset. I'm not too sure.
I don't know.
I'm curious as to how it tracks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We got the Climb 2, which the first Climb sold quite well, if I remember.
Yeah, it's fun. I've played the first one, and it's someone who's afraid of heights. It's interesting to play because it's like you could only I would only be able to do this in VR. I would never be able to do it in real life, so it's kind of cool. Yeah, this is an expansion pack. Climb 2 already came out in February. So, and another expansion pack is The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Aftershocks, which was actually a really good game and did very well on the Quest 2 or Quest as well. So, yeah, just, a nice showcase of future things. The Quest 2 is just really taken VR to the next level from not so much technology wise, but just from a consumer mainstream advancement. Getting people who really like, for example, our VR basketball game, Pickup Basketball VR. We have on Steam right now. You can play it on the Oculus if you're using the link cable. But a lot of people are asking us to put it on the Quest, which we are planning on doing as well. So it's just one of those things where more of the mainstream audience is on the Quest. Yeah. So,
well, I mean, the pickup basketball would sell really well on the Quest.
Yeah. So
like playing that game untethered looks really fun.
Yeah. So that was it for the Oculus Showcase. Just a lot of cool stuff, and also a lot of people were rumbling whether there was going to be a Quest 2 Pro or a Quest 3 this year, and I think those rumors were shot down just because the Quest 2 did very, very well, and I think they don't want to kind of piss off. I mean, hardware in the gaming world, it's not like a phone, right? You can have a phone every year because some people upgrade every year, some people upgrade every 2 years or 3 years or whatever, and it's fine. People don't like upgrading their gaming hardware every year. It's
True.
No. Would you want to buy a Sony PlayStation 6 in this fall? No.
Even your graphics card, you don't want to replace your graphics card every year.
No, it took me years before I replaced mine.
Yeah, our 2060 is honestly going to be fine for like the next 5 years.
Yeah,
at least. So yeah, no, I completely agree.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's some cool stuff from there. Now, this is something that kind of relates to what I was saying before about the Respawn Medal of Honor game. I was like saying, hey, like from reviews and from what I heard from other people, it's not quite what I was expecting, especially for $60. I'll wait till it's 30 or 40. Anyways, this kind of created a little bit of controversy, which is the Days Gone creative director and writer. He was on the God of War creators David Jaff's YouTube show, and one of the things that he had mentioned about how they kind of pitched Days Gone 2, but ultimately kind of got shut down and wasn't greenlit for a sequel because of, based on sales and potential and whatever. And he said something. He said, if you love a game, buy it at fucking full price. I can't tell you how many times I've seen gamers say, yeah, I got this on sale. I got through the PS Plus, whatever. And so he says, I'm just saying you don't, but don't complain. I'm just saying you don't, but don't complain if a game doesn't get a sequel if it isn't supported at launch. It's like God of War got whatever millions of sales at launch, and Days Gone didn't. I'm speaking for me personally as a developer. I don't work for Sony. I don't know what the numbers are. So basically he's saying like, hey, if you want to support a game, buy it at full price at launch. And so a lot of gamers got upset, and I'm also, a little annoyed by these comments because it's not up to the consumer to buy a game at full price if they don't feel like it warrants a full price. I bought Half-Life Alyx for $60, full price when the day came out. One of the best $60 I've ever spent. Actually, I spent much more than that because I bought that the 2060 RTX 2060 card specifically for that. I had to buy a new a power supply for my computer because the 2060 wasn't compatible with my existing one. So I spent a lot of money, and then also, a VR system as well. I mean, obviously it wasn't just for one game, but that was a lot of money spent. $60 for the game, well worth it. I was happy to pay it. no complaints. You have to make the game worth it. And I'm not saying Days Gone is not worth the money. I haven't played it, so I'm not to judge. But if people are talking about it and critics are talking about it and they're not saying that it's worth that, or there's mixed reaction, mixed reviews, and word of mouth isn't going good, I mean, you can't force a gamer to buy something. If they're waiting to pay for a game later on for, let's say, $30 or $40 or whatever price, then that's their prerogative. And yes, if they want to support it, sure, they should buy it at launch for full price. But that's you've got to give them that incentive to do so. And so, yeah, that's my take on it.
Here's my counter argument.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want people to buy your game on sale, don't let it go on sale. I can think of 5 games, Dennis, off the top of my head that literally have been the same price for like 10 years. They haven't dropped the price since.
What games are those?
People still buy it. Dude, well, okay, maybe not 10 years, but actually almost. Holy crap, yeah. Skyrim, dude, Skyrim is still like, I mean, look, it has been brought down, but it's never on sale. You're still going to be paying, like, Skyrim Special Edition is still going to cost you $40 on console no matter what. And how old is that? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There are certain games that will always just stay that stock price. Before CSGO went free, it was the same price for years, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, then again, it's the games that know that they don't have to go on sale. You know what I mean? The games that have already made their money anyways. It's interesting this came from him because, look, Days Gone, you get your bang for your buck with the game.
Mm-hmm. I've never played, so I'm not judging the game. Maybe it is worth $60. I don't know. I haven't played it.
$60 worth of stuff in there. The issue is it entertaining? And my issue was that it was mildly entertaining. Like, I played it, I installed it, got it from PS Plus, installed it, played it for a day or two, and I was like, wow, this game is really, like, it's like there's a lot to it, which is awesome, but it was a bit dull.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like dude, your motorcycle. If you like bump a rock on your motorcycle, you're dead. You've like crashed it. Your motorcycle. It makes no sense to me.
Sounds like Death Stranding.
It's like, yeah, the motorcycle physics remind me of Death Stranding walking physics. There's a lot of the, like, maybe they fixed it since, I don't know, it's a bit clunky, but like, if they look, this might sound ridiculous, but if the game at its full price cost $50, I would say yes. But it's 60, I don't know, it's that $60 price where I'm like, look, yeah, there's $60 worth of stuff in there and it's polished, and I can tell you guys spent a lot of time and effort and energy and love on this, but you can make an amazing game, and if it's not entertaining, it's not entertaining. Look, Red Dead Redemption 2 sold amazingly. But for me, and I can tell you right now, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a 10 out of 10 perfect game. But I think it's boring as hell. You know what I mean? I just can't. I can't, like, I can't be bothered walking from, like, getting on my horse, traveling for 15 minutes from point A to point B. Like, some people love that. I was like, no, I want the action. I want to get in there, man. You know? So keeping in mind, once again, like I said, fantastic game. For me, I found it boring. And it's one of those things where maybe it's just me, but I think a lot of people played this game and they're like, wow, there's so much to it, but it's also like the story was kind of subpar. You know, I think if they really made a better story, that would have, like, kept your interest going. But after a while, like, shooting down hordes of zombies, it's fun, don't get me wrong, but after a while you're like, what's the point, you know? Like, what am I getting out of this? I'm not getting, like, it's not like a looter shooter where I'm getting epic loot for mowing down a bunch of people, you know?
A side note, how is your Outriders? Are you still playing the game? I haven't touched it in a while.
I'm still playing. It's weird because I saw a lot of my friends pre-order it, and it doesn't seem like anybody's played past the 20-minute mark, which is worrying because I've clocked in a fair. I enjoy it. Story's very average, super average story. Like,
I think maybe that's why I haven't played it since, because it's like the story wasn't really average, wasn't really getting to me.
Yeah, like, I actually couldn't care less about the story. I just played the game. The mechanics, after a while, they do get quite repetitive because there's, like, only so many abilities each class has, and it's fun with your teammates. But the reason I'm playing it is for the loot. Like,
yeah, see, I'm not a looter shooter guy.
I'm telling you right now, I'm a little bit bored of the mechanics, but I'm still gonna play that game because the legendary loot in that game, Dennis, looks freaking sick. Like, it looks amazing. Like, you dude. It's so different. Like, the loot you start the game with compared to, like, the end game loot, it's like a whole different game. It's like they decided we're gonna put you in a fantasy game instead of a sci-fi game. It's like you get so much different type of stuff. So I'll play for that, but Yeah, I don't see Outriders getting more players than what it already has. I think that
Probably
this
why
is
they
going to be
probably
a
why
player
they
base
made
and
they
it might
probably
go
why I
down.
did the Game Pass deal, because you can get
Yeah,
a good player base off of
off of Game
just
Pass.
that,
Yeah,
of that, and then which you initially need anyway. So it's actually a very good move from them to do Game Pass, because it's like,
yeah.
okay, they get some money from
Server.
it, and
Yeah,
then they
server.
get
They had server. They still have server problems. Sorry, which I know you and I wanted to play it at some point, but apparently the biggest issue is
crossplay.
crossplay servers. Yeah,
Yeah.
being able to try to connect, join your friend crossplay has been really difficult. And even if you do get in, you'll get kicked out sometimes. It's yeah. So they do need to fix that. They know that.
Mhm.
It's sad because the way the game went now, from the beginning, People Can Fly said we will never have microtransactions in our game, right?
Mhm.
But because of the player base being lower than what they expected, I feel like maybe in the future we will see microtransactions.
Possibly.
Obviously all cosmetic, but that also like begs the question of there's so much cosmetics in the game already. That's the whole reason I play it, to grind for the new weapons and stuff, you know? The only things that they could maybe add in for that is maybe, I don't know. I can't think of any way for them to make more money from this except for like DLCs and walkthroughs, and I hope more people get into it. Like it's a good looter shooter, you know what I mean? But other than that, like story is average, you know. Game's fun though. Game's fun, good loot.
Cool.
That's all I can say. We're going back real quick to the Days
Gone.
Gone guy. I agree with his statement though. I do agree with his statement. If you cannot complain about a game not getting a sequel if you didn't support it. Like there are so many games that I bought for like $5 and like blew my mind, and I would love a sequel, but I'm not going to get one because everyone bought it for $2 or $3 on Steam, you know. But it's also like you don't have to buy it at full price. There's other ways to support a studio. You know what I mean? Like, if you, because here's the thing, you're more likely to buy a game when it's on sale. You're more likely to try it out. If you see a game and you don't know if you like it or not, you're not going to spend the $60 on it, you know?
Yeah, and then
You're going to wait till it's on sale, and then you'll see if you like it or not.
But if you create enough hype and enough good reviews and good enough word of mouth, people will like I said, Half-Life Alyx, I got that day one, you know? There's other games that I've bought on day one. Because I was like, oh, like Red Dead 2. You didn't love it. I absolutely loved that game.
Yeah.
I got it on day one, you know, and it's like, or, you know, Fallout 76, I got on day one, but I was not happy with I mean, later on, retroactively, once they put in Wastelanders and all that cool stuff, like my opinion of my purchase has gotten better. Like at that time, I was like, I wasted $60 or $50. I can't remember if it was a full price game or not. But anyways, I felt
you're right.
I felt like I wasted my money, but
it's a combination of marketing, being a public name. Like
yeah.
I don't even know the studio of Days Gone. Like I can't tell you the name of the studio. You know, who is this? Who's the developer?
I think it was
like
they said Sony.
I mean, but that's it. But that
Sony
says everything,
Bend or
doesn't
something,
it? Like here's the thing. When maybe not so now, but before Fallout 76, if Bethesda releases a game, most people are pre-ordering it, regardless of what it is. You know, but like keep in mind this is pre Fallout 77. Like I literally, most people pre-ordered Fallout 4. You know what I mean? Most people pre-ordered Skyrim. Everything you know is going to be good, you're going to pre-order. The God of War game, I pre-ordered. I knew it was going to be a hit. Crash Bandicoot, pre-ordered because I knew I was going to get what I wanted out of it. You know what I mean? But those are also like people who have developed brands for themselves, and they're IPs that you know as well. So it's an issue of like, yes, you take a risk. You can't complain about your game not having sold well when it's the first entry in its IP. You can't build up loyalty with fans with a fresh IP. You can build loyalty within as a developer, you know, getting a name. Like I now respect and know Respawn. I know Respawn by name. If Respawn comes out with a game, I'm more likely to pre-order it and pay full price because I have yet to be disappointed by them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Same with CD Projekt Red before Cyberpunk. You know, I mean, look, I love them, but before Cyberpunk, people would have like anything CD Projekt Red would have been released. Anybody would have pre-ordered, regardless of what the game was. You know what I mean? So like it just seems like one of those things where it's like the dude complained about it. I don't know who he is. Nobody knows who he is. You can't complain about. I know he's not complaining about loyalty, but that's what it is. People aren't going to pay the people who pay full price for a game that's loyalty. You know what I mean? And you can't just have loyalty out of nowhere. You got to build it up, man.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. This one, let's go briefly. This one we talked about before. Knights of the Old Republic. It's not, Respawn is not doing it. It's a Aspire Media, a port studio. So it looks like that is happening. I'm very interested in seeing how they're going to change the game from the original, especially the fighting mechanics, because those are definitely need to be updated. Turned from a turn-based to real time, and also story-wise, how they're going to change it around to fit into the canon of now the Disney Star Wars universe. So yeah, I mean, I will be getting this, as long as the reviews aren't like this is a POS, but I will be getting this as long as people don't say it sucks. Even if it's just average, I probably will still be getting it. So. Anyways, I don't think there's much to say about that. Just waiting to hear more.
I didn't know about this either, but I suppose related. Was it 2019? Somebody suggested that Disney might be making a Knights of the Old Republic trilogy movie.
Yeah,
there was speculation for that. Like you said, they're gonna have to modernize it. They're gonna have to make the story fit the canon. We've seen a lot of games go from turn-based to active time. Look at the Final Fantasy VII remake. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's another game, but I'm blanking on it right now, that did a good job of coming back. So it can. It's definitely doable. You know what I mean? And they're just gonna have to. Hopefully, they still have a heavy focus on RPG and dialogue mechanics, because dialogue mechanics is a big part of KOTOR. Yeah. Look, and in terms of Aspire Media, their games are pretty usually. Like, that's the only thing I have to say about the studio. Like, usually their games are quite visually pretty, or like they look like fresh or sharp. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be good. Look, while we're on the topic as well, for anybody listening, if you haven't played Knights of the Old Republic, it's dirt cheap, and even if you don't have a PC or even if you don't have a PC,
dude, you can play it on
mobile.
Yeah, you can play it on iPad.
Mobile. It's actually pretty. It's pretty decent. It's because it's a turn-based game. It's actually pretty decent on mobile and an iPad. And I think it's only $10. I could be wrong, or it could be $15.
Yeah, I paid $10.
Definitely check it out on mobile if you guys haven't played it before. It's one of the easiest ways to play, because you can be in bed, on your couch, whatever.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite games.
It seems like playing the game wouldn't really ruin the reboot, because they're going to be changing it to make it fit canon. So I think, like, you and I, having played the original, I think we're going to have still a fairly fresh experience with this game. Yeah. Like. We're probably gonna know most of the characters and where the story's going, but we'll still have a fresh experience.
Yeah. All right. Call of Duty Warzone Season 3 trailer. Squad up the world. It's that Call of Duty style where they take, and because I'm older. I don't know most of the people that are in this video. I'm taking they're probably like either celebrities or at least gaming celebrities in this.
I mean, yeah, I haven't recognized.
Do you
a lot of streamers?
Okay, maybe they're, I don't know.
I think they're just actors. Like,
are they? I think there's some celebrities in here. That's what
Like,
remember
a couple of these guys look like rappers, man.
Yeah, I mean, don't you remember back in the day they had the ones like with like Kobe Bryant and who else, like they're playing as it's that
straight up, dude. I think they did use I think they used celebrities. I don't think they're YouTubers and streamers, though. I think they used athletes and rappers and stuff. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, I don't know any of these people.
I'm out of the loop with that stuff too.
Yeah,
who knows?
Yeah. Anyways, I'm not playing Warzone. Are you still playing Warzone, or are you out?
It's too big, man. The updates, I just couldn't. It's a fun game. Don't get me wrong, but I just can't deal with the updates. I don't know if they've slowed down, but it was too much for me. Supposedly, with the new season, they are going to. Is it World War II? So it's 1940 something. Like it's going to be a new map, and they've also said that they're not going to be going back to the old map. Like, so if you enjoyed Verdansk, is it? I think it's gone now. Like, it's going to be gone. Which, while we're on that topic too, people have always wanted the original Fortnite map to come back, and so Fortnite was like, here you guys go. We brought back the original map as a player skin. And it's literally the map as a person, and they're like, look, we brought it back, guys. We brought back the map. So I was
Just
like,
troll,
what a troll, man.
trolling your own
What a troll.
fans. Apex Legends Legacy trailer
This looks
came
good.
out. There's
Yeah, this
this
looks good.
character Valkyrie that's actually tied into the Titanfall series. Was she the daughter of whatchamacallit? Is the daughter of the infamous pilot Viper from Titanfall 2. So yeah, there's some Titanfall connection there. What'd you think of this trailer?
Oh man, I got me so hyped to play the game, but I can't play the game because there's you see the game itself. I mean, you can tell just from the trailer, a lot of resources. It's a very resource heavy game, therefore you can't really play it on a high ping. You know, there's a lot of games you can kind of get away with playing on a high ping, but because there's so much like flashy abilities going around, or there's just a lot of things happening on screen at once, a lot of grenades, a lot of abilities, a lot of things flying around. Like I lag like because we don't have any dedicated servers in Africa, I have to connect to Europe and like which is what I usually do, but it's like it's just not fun. Me and Dorian tried streaming a few times and like it's just not fun playing with that kind of ping. So I miss it, but it's like I wish I could get into this. Like it looks so much fun. I'm looking forward to it because it seems like with this new season, there's speculation. Because here's the thing: the developers said that they won't ever add Titans in the game as like a permanent thing because it's OP. Like if someone has a Titan, that's the game.
Game
know what
over.
I mean? But they're thinking of having it as a limited time event where like maybe 1 or 2 Titans will spawn on the island and first come first serve kind of thing. You know, I'm sure that it seems like they're gonna work them in, or maybe they'll like work in smaller Titans. I don't know. Like I think that could be more viable, is if they like bring in mini Titans or like more like exosuits. You know, instead of a Titan, you have an exosuit or something. But yeah, it looks good, man. I just wish I could play it. Oh, I'm so mad about the ping.
I like this trailer because it's not a gameplay trailer. It's basically a story trailer, right? And it's got this animated movie vibe to it, where like when I watch this, like wow, that'd be kind of cool if they made like an animated TV series or something like that and use this art style for it, you know, and get into the characters in the storyline and whatnot. So.
Well, we're definitely going to see a lot more starting tomorrow because I believe she comes out tomorrow and the season starts tomorrow. Yeah,
cool.
The 26th.
Cool.
So we'll definitely see more. We'll see more about that in the future.
All right, this is the follow-up that Discord. Remember when Microsoft was thinking about buying Discord? Apparently, Discord has kind of dismissed the whole deal. They're going to be sold for $10 billion, but they decided they didn't want to sell to anyone. I guess that's.
Well, I mean, I think it's smart in my opinion. I knew they were never going to take the deal with Microsoft because going public just makes more sense for them. Because as far as I know, they're still a private company. But they're going to go public, which means we can all be buying Discord stock, which is great. They make, I believe their yearly profit is about $150 million each year. You know what I mean? So look, 10 billion is a big number, but I don't know the evaluation. I don't know if maybe Microsoft had the evaluation wrong or something, but it's like, if a company's making $150 million a year, I wonder what.
Well, it's in revenue. It's not actually profit, though. It's revenue, but it's not profit. But,
true. That's true. Because, I mean, I guess the only thing they have to do is keep servers open and have some stuff, I don't see Discord being a huge team. I see Discord maybe being 18 to 20 people, a lot of moderators though, I'd imagine a lot of moderation is needed to be done, but yeah, their main source of income is Discord Nitro. And I just don't think that they wanted to be, I think they didn't want to lose their creative freedom. I don't think that they wanted to be controlled, and I think that they know that people would have been upset if they did it, because if Microsoft owns it, then it's like, yeah, it'll still be on PC, but nobody knows what they're going to do with it, you know what I mean? Yeah, I think they're going to go public. I think that's the smart decision on their half,
Cool. All right. Last thing on my list is the Marvel's Avengers creative director, Sean Escalage. He's the writer and creative director for the game. He has announced he's leaving the studio and going back to his original employer, Naughty Dog. This does not bode well for, Avengers and
for Marvel Avengers. No, not at all. I like the little message they gave him. They gave him the little coffee cup. Welcome back, Sean.
Yeah,
that was nice.
So that usually happens when he does not see
stability
in the future of that.
It means he doesn't. Yeah,
franchise.
It just means he doesn't see a future at all there.
Yeah. So.
Ooh, that's really not good news.
And Naughty Dog was happy to welcome him back.
Yeah, I got a couple of small things to bring up.
Cool.
Real quick. Let's see. Let's start with The Witcher Monster Slayer mobile AR. It's something I've been looking forward to. It's kind of like Pokemon Go, but The Witcher. You know, you're walking around with your phone. It's AR. You see the monster. You get to fight them. It looks like it's coming out in summer 2021. They've been developing it for a while now. Like, I thought it would come out sooner, but obviously COVID, and considering it's an outdoor activity type game, it's not the best thing to test at the moment, you know. But it looks exciting, so that's going to be coming out. Considering we were talking about PlayStation Now, I didn't even know this, but PlayStation Now, because this made sense. I always thought it was my internet connection, but now it makes sense. So PlayStation Now was, you could only stream in 720. So the games you're streaming them at 720. No matter what the game is, it's going to be 720p. I always just thought it was my internet connection, but no, they choose that. But they're now saying that they've upgraded to 1080p streaming. I don't know when that's going to be put in place, but they've upgraded to 1080p streaming, which is good. And then obviously you can also download the games themselves. Like a lot of the PS3 games you can download onto your PlayStation, even your PS5, and you can have it upscaled up to 4K if you want to, like all your PS3 games, which is quite cool too. Let's see. Oh yeah, Battlefield 6 is going to be revealed soon, they say. It's got the biggest team in series history, so we're going to be getting a Battlefield 6 reveal soon. We'll definitely be talking about that in the podcast when it comes out. This is something you might find interesting, Dennis. Audi has a new concept car. Its headlights project the video games onto a wall for you. So their headlights are projectors. So you can park somewhere and project your video game onto a wall and start playing. I was like, it's as long as they still work as headlights, I think that's quite cool, you know. But hey, it's a concept car, so it's probably just a marketing ploy or something.
Yeah, I'm like, I barely play mobile games. How am I, gonna park a car somewhere to play, anyways? Okay,
so and this is quite interesting. So the Olympic Committee. So as we know, the Olympics have been evolving over time. Skateboarding is going to be at the 2021 the 2020 Olympics, but 2021, you know what I'm talking about. It's actually the trial run for skateboarding. They're going to see how well it does, and if so, they're going to keep it in the future. They're going to keep, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about virtual Olympics now. So the Olympics have started considering their virtual Olympics, and I believe the two games that just recently cleared to be played at the Olympics are Gran Turismo and a Konami baseball game. Pro Baseball 2020, which I've never even heard. Like, I think I've heard of it, but I've never played it. I'm like, it's quite interesting that. It's just interesting that, like, I guess, like, of all the sport games that could have become an Olympic game, like, I was like, it's interesting that it's baseball. I would have thought it would have been FIFA, just because of, like, FIFA has an incredibly competitive scene. You know what I mean? Like, I thought it would have been that, but just weird, interesting. They're going with Gran Turismo and Baseball 2020 for the virtual Olympics. This was also, I wanted to mention this earlier, but I forgot. If the Mortal Kombat reboot does well, like really well financially, they actually have 4 movies set up after this.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this, they do this a lot. Joe Taslim, who also is in the wonderful Warrior series on HBO Max, he said that he was signed on for 4 movies. But they do that a lot with the main actors in movies like this.
It's also like a holding deal kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like
great for the actor.
It's like, hey, if it's successful, then we want you back, type of thing. Especially for these big, large franchises. So we'll see how well Mortal Kombat does. I think relative to its budget, I think it did pretty well. So I have a feeling we will be seeing a sequel.
Yeah, and then this is just odd because it's like, I didn't play the game. I actually don't know what the game is, but you may have heard about this. It was was it Hong Kong? No, Shanghai. They got a bunch of drones to fly in the sky and create a QR code in the sky, and then people could scan it and then download the game. It was like genius marketing if you think about it.
Yeah. That's crazy.
It's like, I'm assuming it was a mobile game because it's a QR code. You got to use your phone. But yeah, like there's a just giant QR code floating above Shanghai made out of drones. You scan the QR code, you download the game. Honest to God, genius. I'm wondering how many other companies are going to start doing that. Like, I mean, look, it's not genius enough to have me get to play the game because I don't know what the game is, but genius marketing ploy. Like, really, I mean, we're talking about it, so it worked as a marketing ploy. Oh yeah, we already spoke about the Respawn thing, and then there is a lot of like, I don't know if it's really video game related, but a lot of Marvel news. You know what I mean? So I don't know if you want to cover that or not. Just like for instance, I actually love this, which is Russell Crowe is going to be Zeus in the new Thor movie. So we got Russell Crowe as Zeus. I think that's going to be funny. I didn't even know that like they had blended the two before, but after speaking to some fans, apparently Zeus and Hercules have been in the Thor comics before. So people are speculating, yes, they've cast Thor. I'm sorry, they've cast Zeus. Most likely, there's also going to be a Hercules. So they're wondering who's
so they're blending Greek mythology with Norse mythology.
But yeah, which at first I had a problem with until I found out that they had actually already done that like a long time ago in the actual comics. Like they bridge, like it is separate. They don't set themselves like they know that they're separate gods, if you will, you know. So I think that's gonna be quite interesting. And then yeah, things like the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday, the holiday special coming out, which is crazy because I never would have thought, just considering what happened to the Star Wars holiday special many, many years ago, I thought that the whole of Hollywood was like, you know what, maybe no more Christmas specials, you know? Especially after the train wreck that Star Wars was, the Christmas
special. But that was a long time ago.
I think James Gunn's going to kill it. Honestly, I think it's going to be funny. It's going to be homey. It's going to, apparently it does fall in the timeline of the MCU story series that we're watching now. But yeah.
Where is that going to premiere? Is that going to be Disney Plus?
Disney Plus, yeah, Disney Plus. I think it's not a movie. It's just a special. It's probably going to be like 45 minutes if I had to guess, maybe an hour.
Yeah.
Like I wonder if they're going to do it like the Star Wars one where it's like a variety show, or if it's.
I don't think so. I think it will. I think it will take place as like in the MC universe as a narrative, but just gear it towards the holiday season or whatever.
Yeah,
that's just my guess.
Apparently, like I said, it does fit into the current MCU timeline. Like it will be, I suppose, taking place in this era of with the Falcon show, and we've got the Loki show coming out soon. It's going to be filling in like a couple gaps after those. It's going to be bridging a lot of the shows together, supposedly, which is quite interesting. But yeah, out of all that, I'm still surprised that Russell Crowe is going to be Zeus, because he's a big guy, you know. He's a bit on the hefty side, so I like that. We're going to see a bit of a pudgy Zeus, I guess. But yeah, that's about all the news I have. At least the news that seemed interesting enough to bring up, you know.
Cool. All right, yeah. So I think that's it for the episode. We'll have a spoiler review of Mortal Kombat sometime soon. Hopefully, we'll do that tomorrow. People, make sure to subscribe to this channel. That's youtube.com/Revog. Subscribe to the podcast. I've put the link down below. We have finally got the podcast feed up on anchor.fm. And you can follow me on Twitter at ThinkHero or Instagram Dennis.tzng. And Josh, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at, it's either Josh.Toki or Josh_Toki. Either way, when you look it up, you'll see.
I think it's underscore.
Follow each other.
Yeah, I think it's underscore. Yeah.
I think, Instagram was dot, and then Twitch, and I'm on Twitch, Josh_Toki, and I'm also on Twitter, Josh_Toki. And you can also find me on, I'm blanking right now, TikTok at Josh.Toki.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for everyone who joined us here on YouTube or on the audio podcast, and stay tuned for next week. Talk to you guys later.
See you later.